Hello, all my little bun-buns. Daisy here with you tonight, feeling rather feathery. Just because, and I hope you're enjoying that part too. But for now, we're going to have a thoughts video. And, well, my last thoughts video, I talked about all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as it currently stands as a whole. Which means I didn't get to spend much time on any given movie. I kind of gave a little concentration on the first Avengers movie, but not too much. So, I figured I would start from the point where I first knew that we definitely had a Marvel Cinematic Universe. It just sort of clicked right here, and it was a really good movie. It made me happy. And it was a movie about a character I was kind of okay with at this point. He'd had a Saturday morning cartoon show when I was about out of Saturday morning cartoons, I was in my mid-teens and I was barely still watching even the good stuff. And it had two sections. One was really super frenzy, and then one was a little darker and more interesting. Who am I talking about? Why am I still babbling on? You don't even know what I'm saying about? Well, let's give you a movie. That'll be Iron Guy, Iron Man. Starring the really hot and sexy Robert Downey Jr. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. My boy loving self comes out there, and he's a cutie pie. um, put the plastic down. So, um, this was definitely an origin story slash good quality comic book character movie. That's an easily rewatchable one. Usually origin story movies I have a lot more trouble watching because you have so much time not being the character. It, like, I'm gonna become Superman, and it's like you're not Superman until like the last scene or something, that kind of thing. In this case, uh, you had Tony Stark being Tony Stark at least from the get-go, and that's half the character. No matter what, I didn't feel like I was losing from the beginning. That, and we didn't tell the story 100% in order. Uh, Spoiler alert if you haven't watched this yet. But we start kind of in the middle, um, with a weapons display in the Middle East somewhere. And they show it right to the point where Tony gets a missile that kind of takes him out. And that's where he gets captured by the Ten Rings, I think it was. Whatever that group was. The the main middle, I'd say the more the secondary villain, the Middle East crew, was just kind of there. So they're forgettable in a whole, but they weren't bad in any way, shape, or form. They just weren't a specific iconic bad guy in themselves. And that's okay. That is okay. Your B villain doesn't have to be. You don't have to have both like a Venom and a Sandman and a Hobgoblin at the same time. I'm looking at you, Spider-Man 3. Uh, but here we had primary villain, which is kind of in the shadows the whole time, and a secondary villain, which was the Middle East cartel, effectively. Uh, but after the missile falls, then we go back in time to start the movie off, really. We get to enjoy Tony Stark being um, boy toy, uh, and just being kind of a representative of his company as it currently was standing, a weapons corporation. Um, it was good opening, a good intro to the character, and he was fun. it wasn't a boring startup in any shape of the mind. I felt like you were on the ball already. You had this fun guy, this Tony Stark, from the start of his start arc here. It works his way up to when he's going to the Middle East to do that presentation. We do the finish of all the backstory, and then they kind of fast forward to what happens after, where he's in the cave, imprisoned, and he builds the first variant of Iron Man, along with the Jensen character, who helps translate for him and helps him do what he needs to do, and kind of saved his life whenever they had to put a magnet in his chest. It really shows how Tony Stark really was a genius, as he made an arc reactor, which is apparently some kind of amazing energy-producing object, from missile scraps that he was handed. He was able to create the first Iron Man armor in kind of secrecy, as he was being forced to make a missile for them, which he didn't do. Spoiler, he didn't do that. Poor Jensen had to die, unfortunately, but if you've read or watched any other Iron Man comics or cartoons, you knew the person who helps him make the first Iron Man suit has to die. It's part of the thing. Sucks, but it does. And after he gets back, escapes, he starts to make the Iron Man suit. And this should have been boring, or just kind of a glossed over thing. But the fact that he does it, and he makes mistakes as he's doing it, makes things too powerful a couple of times, ends up flipping himself over into shelving units. It made this part super fun. You could stay with it and not feel lost. You enjoyed being with the character. Again, Robert Downey Jr. made Tony Stark be Tony Stark. I felt the character. He just emanated fun guy. And he made his first armor, stuff happened, and he made a better version, slightly better version. So he's made now 3 total Iron Man armors effectively, in one movie. The initial in the cave one, the silver variant where he was just trying to make stuff, and the final version of this movie, which was the gold and red plated one. He takes his powerhouse armor, which he added some weapons and stuff to, out to the Middle East, takes out the group of Middle Easty people that were terrorizing everyone out. Awesome. But now the main villain really kind of starts to surface. The person who had sent him out to the Middle East and had paid the Middle East cartel to kill him was his second in command at Stark Enterprises, Obadiah Stane. Ooh. So Obadiah was actually trying to get him killed so that he could just take over the company and just be CEO. Which didn't work since Tony didn't die and he came back. And since Tony wasn't willing to share the technology he created, Obadiah was using the one of the research labs and had them not only piece together Iron Man 1.0, the built in the desert variant, but also improve upon it, make it more cooler and more bigger and scurry. And he made Warmonger, or Ironmonger, a big honking, like muscle bound armament armor. And here we have actual main villain. And in the process, he took Tony's second variant he made of the arc reactor out of his chest. Tony had to use the original one that he created in the desert, which was not powerful enough, made for more of a plot and a good plot device. Then Tony's golden red armor that he's made in this episode, in this first movie, gets to fight with the Ironmonger. Great combat, great interactions. It had such good graphics, even for when it was done early 2000s. It felt good. It felt like things had impact. Cars were involved, people were involved, stuff happened. Damage to the armors. Both the Iron Man armor and the Ironmonger got damage in the processes, like skid marks from cars or scratches or whatever. Stuff made impact. And when things make impact, it feels more real. This comes back to the Star Trek, my shields are down to 30% mode. And this had impact, this had damage, this had, full real feelingness. It had Obadiah trying to take out Tony at all cost, Tony trying his best to save all the humans in the area, protect all the people, and eventually, fortunately, in the end, he wins. Iron Man wins. Obadiah Stane gets, we're assuming, killed. They didn't really specify he's dead, but he ain't there no more, so I'm assuming he dead. And we end with Shield trying to convince Tony Stark not to say who Iron Man was, to put up a cover story, of which he walks up to the press, throws away the cards, and says, "I'm Iron Man." And that's it. We basically end on that. It's a really good start. It introduces Shield. It introduces Agent Coulson. I didn't really mention him much. He was the liaison that ended up handing Tony the cue cards for his final moment there. He was around with Pepper Potts during part of it. I don't want to get into every detail of the movie. It's otherwise we'd be here for the entirety of the movie's distance, and I don't feel like making you a 2-hour description movie thing. That wouldn't be fun. And in the teaser at the end, we have Samuel L. Jackson coming in as Nick Fury, talking about the Avengers. So again, this is why I feel like this was the first really good Avengers opening movie. I don't remember if this actually came out before or after the Hulk that counts in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it definitely had, I think it came first because I think we had Tony Stark being the introer in the end of the Hulk movie. So I might have this in the right order. I might. But it really had a lot of heart. This movie felt realistic. It felt like people had the right kind of interactions, the right reactions to things. I loved one of the kind of dopey jokes they made when Tony made it back to the America after being imprisoned. First thing he did was he had his bodyguard Happy take him to a burger joint to buy fast food burger. And that's as he's getting up to the podium to announce that his company's no longer making weapons. He's eating the hamburger that he needed to have, because that's a real thing a person would want to do. Not necessarily a hamburger from like a Wendy's or a McDonald's, but some kind of comforting food from your real world. Something fast, something easy, something you can just grab. So even though he was like a playboy billionaire, he still had, real thoughts, real feelings, and I liked that. So All in all, 100% approve and recommend. It is on Disney Plus, so if you have your Disney Plus subscription, go to the Marvel section. Give it a watch. You're covered. If not, it's not very expensive on DVD because it is a bit old at this point. I have it on Blu-ray, and I can't recommend it enough. It's a great flick. So yeah. Uh, Now for the fun part, for the commenting thing. Please give me a comment. Did you watch it at some point? Did you love it? Hate it? Otherwise, give me a note. Give me a comment there. Let me know how you feel. I always am intrigued to hear what other people feel about things that I feel about. Because yeah, it can be entertaining to learn other points of view. But in general, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the little dingly bell. For the little dingly bell will let you know whenever I post new videos. Who knows? Could be a Daisy video. Could involve feather boas. You never know. It's me. These things happen. And in the description box below will also be my Patreon link and my Ko-fi link, both of which are fun ways to help support the channel if you're so inclined. You're not required to. I don't hide anything behind a paywall. Everything is free and I'll put up at the same time for everyone. I just give a little bit extra, something to my patrons and my coffeeers if they, uh, donate. So, bonus is there. Bonuses are galore, yay! Anyway, thank y'all for watching and spending time with me. I always appreciate that. This little bunny always gets a little smile from it. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next video. For now, keep hoppy, keep feathery, keep fluffy, keep bunny. And I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.